Welcome to another episode of Audi Ask Questions. And today I have Melat Kiros with me. She is a 28-year-old Ethiopian American running for Congress in Denver, Colorado. Thanks for taking time out of your day to talk to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself, just your background and what made you want to run in the first place?
Yeah, sure. My background, I immigrated here when I was a baby in 98 and came straight here to Denver, Colorado. I grew up here, here and in the Denver metro area. And I ultimately decided to run after Trump won in November again. It was a night where I just felt in my soul that Democrats were not going to resist enough. They were not going to offer a good enough vision to bring people back into the party. Because I think my biggest concern is that, I know we're going to take back the House. I know we're going to take back the White House in 28. But after that, we're not offering anything as a party to bring back the thousands of working class voters that we lost in this last election. And so the only way for that to change is if we start running for these positions and forcing the party to get back to its roots and talking about issues that actually matter to working class people.
And could you tell us a little bit about your educational background? I know you went to Notre Dame Law, and I believe you're currently a PhD candidate, right?
I am, yeah. So I did go to Notre Dame for law school. I graduated in 22. I did practice law for a little over a year. And then I did some work politically. I was a communications director for a congressional campaign in Colorado. And then I decided to go into a PhD program. I was, after I got fired, I had quite a lot of time on my hands and I was doing a lot of reading and just trying to understand, what was going on in our country and where there are places where maybe we could come together and find some common ground so we can actually start passing some policies and being effective again as a government. And the issue, the policy that I found was just a line that threaded through everything was money in politics and how it just pervaded every single policy area. And I wanted to understand it better. So I decided to start a PhD program here at CU Denver in their School of Public Affairs. And it's been incredible.
You were talking about, getting fired. So, I think you work for Sidley Austin, right? Which is this huge law firm. Anybody who goes to law school has definitely heard the name. Talk to us about what happened and, what you did right after.
Yeah. So I am from the northern region of Ethiopia, which is Tigray. And there was a civil war that was happening for a few years there. What I would classify as a genocide. Numbers estimate that somewhere around 600,000 civilians were killed during the course of the conflict. And, a lot of the same tactics that were used in Tigray are being used in Palestine as well. There was a media blackout for over a year in Tigray. There was the weaponization of hunger, which is what we're seeing right now. And I remember I was protesting, I was advocating with the diaspora in my community on behalf of people back in Tigray. And I just thought to myself, I couldn't imagine if someone had threatened my job by my protesting and advocating for those people, for innocent human beings. And that's what we were seeing was happening after the October 7th attack and what I would consider the immediately disproportional response from Israel after that attack. And at the time that I wrote my letter, I think somewhere of maybe 10,000 Palestinians had been killed by Israel at that point. And there was just such callousness and disregard for that loss of life. And on top of that, punishing students, law students, especially that were protesting and advocating for the people of Palestine to say that what's happening is wrong. And I just thought as lawyers, when we're talking about protecting these things that we hold so dearly, and one of those things being freedom of speech, it just didn't sit right with me. And I decided to write about it. And I specifically wrote about it with the context of the conflict at large, right? Not just from October 7th, but beginning right at the first settlement of Israel in the Palestinian territory. And so I just really wanted to shed a light on this callousness and disregard and the numbness that we have when we're talking about foreign policy, when we're talking about human life being lost in these casualties, especially when we're paying our tax dollars for it, right? And I think that's something that has been a turning point for a lot of people in this country. And we haven't seen this kind of discourse around Palestine and Israel in a really long time. And I think we have those students to thank, honestly, for how quickly and how fearlessly they advocated for Palestine and really shed light on what was happening there. And so I just wanted to play my part in defending their right to do that, especially as young students that were learning to, ultimately practice this law and protect our Constitution in some way as well.
Hey there, if you liked that video, then subscribe to my channel, click on the link in my bio to follow me on Instagram, X, and more.